Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sunday. It's a nice day for us all to nice and relax. It's been a very long first week for us, hasn't it? I hope you've enjoyed getting to meet all of our drinks this week. As you know, we are in our first week of May. The theme is April showers bring May flowers. So all of these drinks that you've seen have been bright in either a colorful way or bright in a mouthfeel way. Probably not a typical way you think of drinks, but every drink has its own palate, and each one can give you a different type of sensation depending on what you put in it. And that's what really brought me to make this channel, is I wanted to bring different artistic views on drinks, because most people just think of alcohol as a way to forget and relax. So, like, relaxing is the way I went. Forgetting, no, I don't like to forget drinks. I love trying new drinks, and I really wanted to bring that for everybody else. So, let's go into some further detail, since TikTok videos only give you so much time to go over them. Our first drink we made this week, which was Monday, I'm going to show right over here, was the sherry. Now, the original recipe is an ounce of lime juice, half an ounce of triple sec, an ounce of rum, and like a quarter teaspoon or dash of triple brandy, cherry brandy, and in a martini glass, your traditional like 3 ounce martini glass, that'll pretty much fill it up. But most martini glasses here in America, they're running like old fashioned size glasses now. They're like 6 ounces. So I kind of doubled that recipe just to get it to fill up the glass to make it look even prettier. Um, so I changed it up to about an ounce and a half of lime juice, 2 ounces of rum, 3/4 of an ounce of triple sec, and then a half ounce of cherry brandy, just to give it that final cherry feel throughout. Now, what I did was I shook it up just to break down that rum flavor, because rum's pretty versatile and it'll go a long way. But shaking up really helps blend all of those flavors together to make it nice and even throughout. As you notice, the drink was nice and pink, almost an orange feel to it. It really brought out those beautiful, like, fresh pink tulips that are you're seeing along outside. They even can make you think of bleeding hearts in your colder regions, because who doesn't love walking through spring and seeing all of those bright pink flowers? Uh, and now let's get down to flavor for it. If you tried it, it's actually really delicious. It was really bright and kind of poppy. I had a lemon wedge, I think, for this drink. I don't remember. I don't have pictures in front of me. Anyway, moving on. This drink, there's nothing mandatory that you have to garnish it with. You can make it pretty by just throwing a cherry in it. You can put, oh, that's what it is. I put cherries on a skewer. You can put cherries on a skewer. You can use a lime wedge. You could use an apple. You could use a pear even. So, like, if you had a special flavored rum and you had like pear rum, that could pair really well. But pair really well in this drink and bring a whole nother flavor. So don't forget to step out of your comfort zone with any of these drinks that I show you. Try something new with them. Anyway, moving on. We got a lot to get through. Tuesday, we made the El Presidente. Now, this is a drink that you might not have heard of, but I really wanted to stick with it. I know I missed May the 4th be with you that day, and I'm sorry to all of my nerdy friends who are very mad at me by not making this Star Wars themed, but just think of it as like an El Sith Lord. Maybe? Okay. Anyway, moving on. Again, since this one went into a nice martini glass, I decided I was going to up the recipe again because it didn't fill it. So, ounce of lime juice jumped up to an ounce and a half of lime juice. Ounce and a half rum jumped up to 2 ounces of rum. Uh, says a quarter teaspoon of pineapple juice. I changed that to half an ounce. To like 3/4 of an ounce of pineapple juice, just to help bring that flavor in. Then a splash of grenadine. Shook that up. The pineapple juice mixed with that little splash of grenadine turned it into this beautiful orange, almost like I know it's not carnation season, but like carnation, mums are fall. Ignore that. Don't say mums. Um, and even possibly daffodils. Daffodils have a beautiful range of yellows to oranges, and they're honestly some of my favorite flowers. But this drink, it was really pretty. um, I garnished this with lime wedges since we were using lime juice. And if you guys know me, I prefer fresh lime juice over bottled because you can get two different types of bottled lime juice. You can get either the lime juice in the really tiny bottle, which is super concentrated and super puckery, so it can really not kill a drink, but make it really hard to swallow. And then there's the roses sweetened lime juice, which is called for in certain recipes for certain drinks, and it can work really well. But if you're using it in the wrong way, it's like using rose water in a cooking recipe. It can destroy, and we didn't want that. That's why I always say fresh lime juice is better. Um, for the purpose of making the videos, I used bottled because it was quicker. But we learned that with this video when I tried to squeeze 2 ounces of lime juice out of a very dry lime. It was a fresh lime too. That was rude. But we shook this one up. If you tried it, I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Um, and you could go in any direction with this. Again, change up the rum. Instead of using grenadine, you could use maraschino cherry liqueur, bring a little more alcohol into this. You could even possibly try adding like a little bit of red wine instead, because if you were to use like a burgundy, it's going to give it a deeper earthy mouthfeel, but it's still going to have a similar color theme to it. Yeah, all of these drinks were some of my favorites. But moving on, Wednesday. Cinco de Mayo, I know everybody was probably expecting some bright, colorful paper flowers and stuff like that, but I brought you something completely different. We went for a white lily. I took it just because of the name, and when it finished up, it had that light blue essence that you get from that gorgeous white lily. You know, when you look at white and it's almost blue, that's what you got from this drink, and that was my favorite part about it. Granted, it might have been because I used some green absinthe because I didn't have any anisette, sambuca, galliano. I didn't have any licorice liqueur. So let's get further into that. Now, the white lily, again, had to increase the portion sizes on this one, but should keep the same flavor profile. We went with 1.5 to 2 ounces of rum. Sticking with white rum here, you could go to a spiced rum, but that's going to really change it. 1 ounce of triple sec, 1 ounce of gin, and that gin was probably the most important besides the absinthe because it's going to give you that juniper flavor that you need to give it that white lily essence. In place of gin, you could have used Saint Germain or an elderflower liqueur, and that would have really given you a different type of palate. But I don't want to go into variations too much here because we might go into a lot with that, and you're probably not wanting all that from me. This is a long video as it is. And when you put that dash of anisette or absinthe, that's when that fennel licorice flavor is really going to round out all of that. You can either stir this one up and do it like a traditional martini, or you can shake it up, break down a lot of that alcohol, because this is all alcohol. There's no juice in this at all. It's one of your harder drinks that you might be struggling to drink because maybe you're not an alcohol person. Maybe you prefer your fruity drinks, but you want to try something different. This is one of those drinks to try, in my opinion, because it's simple. It can be harsh, but if you have it the right way at the right time, it's definitely worth a try. As you saw with my garnish, it was with blueberries. Nowhere did it call for berries in this recipe, but one thing I've learned from this is that when you have a harsh drink, if you have something nice and subtle to finish it out with, it can really make it that much more enjoyable. And if you want to go a completely different route with this, here's something you didn't think of. Try it like a Gibson. A Gibson is just a martini, but it's served with cocktail onions. Cocktail onions can be so controversial because onions, people are afraid of them. In a drink like this, a cocktail onion with its saltiness could really go well with that gin and that absinthe flavor. Give it a try for me. Let me know how that is if you want. Otherwise, we might never talk about it again. But ignore me. We're moving on. Now to Thursday. Let's look at that one. That's the Bolero. Now this one was a great drink. Probably one of my favorites because I love Manhattans, and this one really made me think of a Manhattan. So you've got your rum, 1.5 to 2 ounces, an ounce and a ounce, nah, half an ounce to 3/4 of an ounce of apple brandy. As you guys saw, I had to home make that because apple brandy is really hard to come by unless you're going to like a specialty store. I don't have time for that. Dash of sweet vermouth, if you don't know what sweet vermouth is, or dry vermouth. It's basically like port or sherry. It's just a super fermented wine. So you kind of want to use those in smaller portions because they can be really overbearing. But sometimes you want that in a drink. So you could increase the sweet vermouth, you could leave the sweet vermouth out. And then technically you're supposed to stir this up like a traditional martini or Manhattan to keep that flavor. But I wanted to shake it. Because shaky shaky, who doesn't love a good shaky shaky, shaky shaky? And it's going to help mellow out those harsh flavors because apple brandy and vermouth, if you use too much of it, it can be a bit harder to palate, but it gave us that really nice, deep, rich, brown, reddish color in those, you're going to say them again, lilies, tulips. I forgot the name of those nice, big, anyhow, gives you those beautiful colors that I'm going for this month with flowers. That one was honestly probably my favorite drink. At the end of this video, and probably another video, I'm going to go further into detail about the apple brandy and cherry brandies, how you can make those on your own, because it's just like making flavored vodkas, flavored rums. Really simple. But let's move on to Friday's drink. That was our Harvest Nectar. I wanted to finish this week off with the Harvest Nectar, probably thinking, why didn't you use the Harvest Nectar for Friday? It's a much more fun cocktail drink, party drink. The reason I wanted to finish the Harvest Nectar was because Fridays are the days that everybody's looking forward to. It's the end of the week. You got time to go out, have a good time. And the Harvest Nectar, that is the perfect drink. You've got 2 ounces of rum, ounce of pineapple juice, ounce of cranberry juice, and an ounce of orange juice. It's basically a rum Sex on the Beach. And if you've ever had a Sex on the Beach, who the heck doesn't love a Sex on the Beach? They're so simple, they're great. And then you top it off with either lemon lime juice, club soda. You could use champagne or sparkling wine, something with bubbles to give it that nice fizzy soda feel that everybody loves and adores because bubbles in the mouth brighten everything up. So what it is it's that super fruity, it's got that beautiful orange color. Just makes you feel like you're spring. It could be one of those great beachy drinks, and it's just a great way to start off the weekend because it's a drink for you, not a drink for everybody else. Probably one of my favorites because Harvest Nectar fit with the theme perfectly. The flavor profile was on point, and I'm pretty certain you guys loved this drink and you're going to come back to it so often. I have nothing else to talk about the Harvest Nectar other than great things because it's such a simple drink. If you want to make it an even different drink, try it with different rums. As you know, you've got spiced, you've got 100 proof, you've got 151 proof, you've got there's a special British one. You could even use Karacha. I'm sorry, not Karacha. Kachana? Whatever. I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm distracted. But let's finish up on a Saturday. We've got our Planner's Punch now. This one I wanted to make it the party drink because it's a simple drink, but it's a good one to make at parties because it's pretty quick. You can make this in a nice big batch also. Probably serve it as like an actual punch in a giant punch bowl. So it's 2 ounces of lime juice, an ounce of simple syrup, 2 ounces of rum, and 2 dashes of bitters. And then 2 ounces of club soda. All that stirred together, and then it's topped with a little bit of grenadine. So you can easily increase all of those portions to make it a nice big bowl of punch. But if you remember in the video, I said that those 2 dashes of bitters were really important. The reason why they're really important is because lime juice is really acidic and really puckerful. Bitters is going to combat that and make them balance each other out. Because if you don't have those bitters, that lime juice can be really harsh. And sometimes you can even increase those bitters, but be very careful with that because bitters can overpower a drink, just like sweet vermouth. That's what I find so exciting about mixology. It's just like baking. You use the wrong portions and you can totally destroy your drink and have to start all over. But it's a lot easier because you don't have to wait that whole baking time to find out if it didn't work. Anywho, coming back, Planner's Punch. So, that lime juice, again, fresh, always better. If you want to try it with roasted sweetened lime juice, it's going to be less puckering, but it will mellow out really well with the bitters. Bitters. I used aromatic bitters because they're your traditional bitters you're going to find almost anywhere you go. But if you go to a fancy bar or a nice, fun bar, they're most likely going to have a lot of different bitters. And that's where I get to be the happiest camper in the world. You've got grapefruit bitters. You can make hibiscus bitters. You can have so many different types of bitters. And they can change all sorts of drinks in so many ways. It's the best. If you ever want to try something different, let's say you have a martini that you always go to, put 2 dashes of some bitters in there and it's going to change it up for you. Let's say you have a traditional martini with a lemon twist. Try that with a citrus vodka and then either a hibiscus or elderflower bitters. And that's going to give you a completely different martini that you wouldn't have expected. Subtleties are what make these drinks. But anyway, the Planner's Punch finished off with that light pink, almost orange color, thanks to that grenadine. Traditionally in this one you use club soda, but again, you can use lemon lime soda, make it a bit sweeter. You could use sparkling wine, make it a bit more alcoholic. You could even use sparkling grape soda, sparkling cider. That's what I was looking for. If you wanted to make it a bit more like that, you can even leave out the rum, throw in the bitters, and bam, you've got yourself a non-alcoholic one. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's what's great about some of these drinks. That's what's great about the party drinks. You can make them non-alcoholic for your friends. But anyway, we've made it. That was the week. As far as the brandies go, it's really simple to make them at home. Like I said, you can do this with vodka or rum. I just used a nice mason jar. I put in about half a cup of the brandy, throw in apples into the apple brandy, let those soak for at least 48 hours. You can keep them in there as long as you want. They're going to continue to ferment and turn more into an apple flavored brandy. Same thing with the cherry brandy. All I did was throw cherries in it. You can use fresh cherries, you can use maraschinos, you can use Luxardos. If you don't know what Luxardos is, we'll go into that in further detail at a later time because everyone loves Luxardos. But we made it. I hope you stayed through this. I know it was a lot to get through, and there's so much more that I want to go over with you because I love you. I appreciate your support. If you're not supporting me, subscribe, follow, check out TikTok, check out Instagram, check out Twitter. I love you all. Thank you so much. Bye.